He's
Hi,
a little bit high. Hi there. Hi, we're just reminiscing.
Yeah, just old thoughts.
Welcome
two old guys.
Two old. Can we be grumpy men yet?
I think we can.
Soon?
At least on here.
Soon.
We are grumpy half the time on this show, if it helps.
We're always angry.
Why don't
about
they make this game like I wanted to?
Do this movie.
This
We could write this movie
Back
better.
in my day.
We could. What's a Russo brother?
Okay, to be fair, they make really good movies. They've started their own company, eh?
I can see. I can believe that.
They've started their own company with the guys who wrote Infinity War.
I love those guys, by the way. They don't get the credit that they
Captain
deserve.
America, like the guys who have written all the Captain Americas, like all the Russo brothers films for Marvel have been written by the same writers.
Mm-hmm.
So the Russo brothers started a company and then scooped them up. And now they're doing a movie with, I think, Josh Brolin.
Oh, of course they would.
Or someone. Like, they grabbed one of the people from Avengers and they're like, we're going to do a movie! And I'm like, yes. So either way, they're good writers. Welcome to the post-credit show, though.
Welcome. My name's Tony.
I'm Nick. And
Talk
we're here
about-
to talk about games we've played.
We've got a few weeks to catch up on. Well, I mean,
Sorta. Brian and I
I don't know how
Brian and
you
I
guys
sort
did
of.
that day.
Well, we streamed Warcraft.
yes.
Because the other game we're playing, we can't really stream. I'll tell you why after, but so we talked about some news and kind of what we've been playing.
It was
there.
impromptu.
But it was very casual. We weren't on camera. We were, that kind of stuff. So, here we are to talk. Yeah, we're kind of catching up after a few weeks. So last week, we all had stuff going on.
It just, timing was
Timing didn't work. And then you and I went out Sunday, though.
Yes, we did. So the first things first, we had I had a doubleheader weekend for Pokemon Go.
Yes.
Last Saturday was the Articuno Day, where it was spawning exclusively Articunos for 3-hour periods.
Yep.
And so the big shtick with that was that it wasn't just like, oh, it'll hatch here in 45 minutes, or it'll hatch over there for 45 minutes in that gym. It was all gyms for 3 hours, all Articunos. And I think we got, my raid crew and I think we got around 28 raids done.
Something. It was a big number. 'Cause I
We-
saw you the next day and you were like,
Because I was like, holy crap, we did a lot. And the worst part is I only picked up one shiny Articuno out of all of them.
one of your friends got 3, right?
Yes, we don't talk about
We don't talk to him anymore.
I literally,
apparently.
like, after the second one, we were like, okay, you know what? Like, maybe luck? Sure. The third one, I wanted to throw his phone out the window. I wanted to throw it in the pond and be like, I know your phone's waterproof. Go get it. Go. So, but yeah, that was a really good day. And it was really excellent because the double XP from raids was still on. So it was 40,000 for each.
Nice.
For each raid. I'm this much closer to 40.
Yep.
So I think I'll hit it probably by fall or whatever. I'm not still in no rush, but it was a good push.
I'm level 23 now.
We got you a lot that one
Which,
day.
if it helps, is a large jump for Nick.
It was. You were like 19, weren't you?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, but then the bigger day, Community Day, was on Saturday, and you were out for that.
I did. I finally came out for a community. It was fun.
It was a good experience, I would think, for anyone really.
Yep.
But it was the Squirtle experience with the
Yes.
sunglasses.
Yes.
Wasn't
not
quite
the
quite squad glasses,
triangle
but
shades or the round
still
ones.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Still a pretty good event.
And honestly, with the sunglasses they gave the Squirtle, it would be more akin to if Squirtles existed in real life, what you would essentially... Because, like, even the avatars in the game, the sunglasses they wear
Yeah.
are those sunglasses. It's essentially like you went like, oh, here's Squirtle, like...
Yeah, essentially.
It's sunny out. Wear some shades,
and
man.
I don't want to give Niantic too much benefits of the doubt because for them to do exactly what we want,
Yeah.
will never happen.
No.
So it's just what are you?
She's good. That's her pop.
Eating her. Well, I mean that's a different question. That's a different issue. So we were out there last week, and this weekend is the next research challenge because it's actually Go Fest right now in Pokemon in Chicago, and I'm surprised the game is actually loading.
I completely forgot about that. I logged in today this morning. It was like Go Fest, and I'm like, didn't everything break last year? When
Yeah,
this
so
happened?
I'm actually interested to read the aftermath because they actually split Go Fest in Chicago into 2 days this time around, right?
Oh, yeah.
So people who can only go on Saturday can go on Saturday, and if you went on Saturday, you can't go on Sunday. And I think they even went above and beyond that to turn off all the spawns in that park and if you can only see the spawns and the stops if you scan the QR code in.
Nice.
So
that'll
that'll help limit the amount of spoofing traffic.
See, Niantic is slow.
Sometimes they have good ideas.
Getting their shit together.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how we're progressing with that. I know with the research reward stuff, we basically nailed that in the first day. We were supposed to do it over the course of 2 days,
right?
But I think we knocked it all out of the park on one day. So after our post-credit show here, I'm going to spend like an hour or something at the legislature doing research stuff, and I'll take a see what we're doing at the end of the day, because Niantic does post updates in the middle.
Yeah.
But that will lead to Zapdos coming out. I guess this is kind of light news, but
whatever.
I'm not really interested in getting a Zapdos, because the one thing it does have for it is it's getting a new fast move if you catch it within the 3 hours that it's available.
Right. Then that's kind of the shtick to all the, like, even Blastoise, if you evolved during the thing, got a specific move.
Even if a Hydro Cannon wasn't great, it's at least worth having in case it gets better. Because they can always buff or nerf moves.
Right.
So yeah, we did Squirrel Day.
Yes.
Community Day.
The next one is Eevee.
Yes.
2-day thing.
So that was the big deal about this one, is because there's so many evolutions to Eevee.
Yeah.
They got to split into 2 days, because what if people don't get all the ones that they want for 1 day, or what if they don't get the shinies for 1 day, right?
Sure.
So I'm currently planning logistics for that. I'm not sure how I'll be able to tackle it. I want to do both.
Yeah.
So. But other than that, what else did I play this week? Let's go with the stuff that I played this week.
All right.
Defiance 2050.
Yes.
Was that Defiance, first of all, it was that game and TV show combination that was brought out in, I think, 2013, 2014. And essentially it was a persistent online shooter world where I guess aliens had come in and kind of wrecked things, and now it's sort of that post-apocalypticness.
Mm-hmm.
But the shtick with it was that every time an episode would air on TV, you would be able to follow along with that in the video game. There would be matching quests. There would be characters that would pop up in the game, and vice versa from the game into the show. So it was one of those really should have been successful combinations, but for whatever reason, Sci-Fi knew that they were just canceled it. And so the original game still exists.
Yes.
You can still play original Defiance. You can pay, $40 or $50 to buy the game. But they have decided to separate it and make a remaster of this original game called 2050, or Defiance 2050. It is a free-to-play game you can get on, I'm not sure, I think it's like Triton servers or something like that. It's by the guys that do another MMO. I can't think of their name off the top of my head. Doesn't matter. But you can, the big stick is that it doesn't tie in with the TV show anymore, but I think they're going to start rolling out the events from the show into the game in a different aspect, because it's all voiced. This remaster is all still voiced. And I think the original actors that did the stuff from the show onto the game still exist in this remaster. Nice. So it's interesting. I like it. It's free to play. It's Destiny style. You have your overworld that you're in, and you're going to pick up quests to, you go clear out this place from all of the bugs or all the hell bugs and stuff like that, or find,
go find X amount of this. Go kill X amount of
that kind of stuff. And there is occasionally story missions in there. I think we should all play, because it's first of all, it's free to play. You can never go wrong. But it's a Destiny style game. You do pick up an ATV in the middle or in the early hours of it, and it is really kooky in terms of driving. It is Halo Warthog style driving, where it's always up, and then you use your left and right to turn, but you're always holding up.
I played something from these people because I got an email from
Right, they do an MMO. I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember what I played from them either, because they're like, if you want one of our other games, you can totally get it now. And I'm like, what did I get from you?
A Rift. That's the one. That was their big MMO.
That's what it was.
So I've been playing a little bit of that.
Nice.
I'm actually super digging it.
Nice.
But it's going to get real boring real fast if I don't play with anyone else.
And I'm finding that with a lot of, like someone said online the other day, they're like, someone's like, I like it when games allow me to like do the co-op thing, like da 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 da. Or I forgot what someone said. This game is much more fun with friends, and they're like, well, that's every game. And they're like, well, no. Some games, like Uncharted, is good by myself. It is a good game.
God of War.
Yeah,
good
God of War.
Spider-Man.
Good game by myself. And it's like, and sometimes games where they do allow multiplayer is more fun by myself. Some games though need your friends to play. Like
Gears
to
of
me,
War. Gears of War is a good example for
Yeah.
that. I remember when that game came out on the 360.
See, and I'm still okay with playing that one on my own.
You can play by your own, but it's one of those games that you could totally play co-op and have it.
But even something like Heroes of the Storm, I can't play on my own.
Splatoon 2.
I can play Splatoon on my own. I'm okay with that.
I think though we just have issues playing with each other online.
Well, that's because we all have to get ranked. We can all actually make a group. I'll get you. Everybody just come over one day, and I'll just get you all there. It's really getting ranked in Splatoon high enough to join a team is legitimately just keep playing. Eventually, you'll
crack it.
You'll crack that threshold. But like playing The Forest by myself, not fun.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there's a single player game, story, everything. Playing with other people, way more fun. And that's again because you just get stupid.
I would almost even say, remember the old Scott Pilgrim game?
Yep.
The side scroller? Yeah, that was way better when you had other people playing with you. Like, it was fun by yourself, but it gets a little thin.
That's like half the old arcade games, the side scrollers, though.
Yeah.
Like The Simpsons was like that. Whenever you went to those arcades and you got to those games, you always kind of was like, oh man. Because there was one I remember we used to go skiing for school at Rabbit Hill, like not like super skiing, but in city, a hill, and they had the Simpsons arcade thing with like the 4 players and all that stuff. Well, you're going as a school, so lunchtime hits.
There's gonna be at least 4 people there.
You go and eat food, and then like Brian and I will go over and play this. Like, you'd bring quarters to make sure you could play the Simpsons, because it's like, let's play together. Totally cool. And because you didn't want to just sit there on the Simpsons game all by yourself. Mm-hmm. It's no fun just being Bart smacking people.
Played that. Still playing it.
Noise.
Picked up Octopath Traveler.
Me too.
Last night. I was hemming and hawing.
You were hemming and hawing.
I'm very much like, I really want a good JRPG experience, and so far I'm in about 2 or 3 hours into it so far.
How many characters do you have?
I started with I can't remember her name, the hunter, Halau or Hali,
Hayati or something.
Hayachi.
I have the game loaded.
I'm playing as Hayachi,
and
I'm gonna throw my son down a volcano, and then I'm gonna host a fighting tournament.
Main story.
Oh.
Hanit.
She's the hunter.
She is the hunter.
/ Pokemon trader.
Yes, so she captures.
So that's her big stick, is capturing animals. And I just picked up Ophelia.
I do not have Ophelia yet. I hear she's a super good healer, though.
So I'm just finishing up her chapter 1 right now.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be interested to see how the multi-party member stuff works, because they build it as like you can play as all 8 characters.
You can
and do all 8 stories
Yeah.
if you want. But that doesn't make sense to me in my mind, my JRPG mind, like how that works with no centralized.
They're all going off to do their own thing.
Right.
So, and I'm going to see, I guess, because I've only done Chapter 1 for 5 characters. I'm in the middle of another Chapter 1 right now for Tressa, the merchant character. Mm-hmm. Like, the class system in this game is insanely good, too. Like,
right.
They all feel very different. So even though a lot of them use the same weapons, like Tressa uses a spear and a bow and arrow, and it's like, all right. But I've replaced the guy who only uses axes on my team, because the enemies around me right now,
or they fall to axes.
They don't fall.
Oh,
like,
they don't fall to axes. Okay. Yeah,
so I'm like, well, you're useless to me right now. I might as well use the people who are strong enough, which I think is a really cool mechanic.
And so how does the story stuff work? Like, you're doing the one person's character, but say you have the 3 other party members that aren't related. You just see the
one character.
Okay, so that's how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and that's my only kind of
super weird.
That's my only disappointment with the game, is it would be really cool if the characters you had with you contributed to the story, like even just dialogue, like a little bit, going like, oh, you have the thief with you, he's gonna say, why don't we just steal it, like in a dialogue piece, and you go, well, no, because that's not how I do things, and you're like, okay, this is your story.
I think at some point that's gonna get a little bit crazy.
It gets convoluted and crazy, so I get why they didn't.
Yeah.
I would just That is my biggest beef with this game. Otherwise,
So I have two very small beefs with this game.
Yes.
Other than that, like it's obviously it's awesome.
yes,
Menu selection.
yes,
Why is it not highlighted?
yes.
Why do I have to hit the stick to hit the A button
I don't know.
on something? Like, and it's not even touchscreen. I can't even touch it
I know.
to.
It was driving me nuts.
like-
I'm used to that one now,
Yes,
so maybe that's.
like-
but yes, I had
But
that.
like I was like, this is driving me like mad. Why can't I just hit the A button, A button, A button to save? I need an A button on the save pillar, press the up stick, and then press A again.
Yep.
Or up on the D-pad. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
The other one that's been killing me, and this is just in my head, but you have the skills you can use outside of battle. So yours is provoke with the hunter.
Yes.
So she can get into a fight, but her pet gets into the fight.
Yeah.
And that's where you really need to capture things.
Right, because I found that real quick that you can't use your own weapons.
No, like in
Yeah.
the provoke thing,
Yeah.
it's only she can send her pets in to
Yes.
fight. Now the cool thing with the pets is when you catch them, it's like this one uses a skill that essentially is the same as a sword.
Yeah.
This
It's the
one
equivalent
heals.
of,
This one does
this is the pike.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. This
Yeah,
is the
so
spear.
that's the really cool part, because
Mhm.
then when you provoke people, they have their own weaknesses to those weapons, and you have to go like, okay, I have to use
Yeah.
so many of these foxes to.
It actually lends a little bit more dynamic challenge to that character.
My
That's-
problem with the skill button, for whatever reason, I keep hitting the left shoulder button to activate it, and I don't
Really?
know why.
Huh. I was
why just doesn't.
I was very quick to like press the Y button to
why
to
just
do that.
every time like I press L and I go, oh right, why? And I don't know why my finger wants to do that.
I'm not-
And L does nothing.
Maybe it's because it's tied. Maybe because it's the opposite of the boost button. Maybe in the battle.
I don't know.
'Cause that's all I play with. The other thing I really, it's not a huge deal. Again, not a game breaker at
Yep.
all. When I'm in a voiced cutscene, automatically move the bubbles. I don't want to have to press A
every time.
every freaking time. I don't mind like listening to the dialogue, but the fact that I have to advance it with a button press, and this is not like some like breakthrough in JRPG.
No.
In like development, we've had JRPGs where you can have that option to press the A button to
Yeah.
move the bubble, or don't press A button. Yes.
No.
Yes. But yeah,
Yeah.
other than that, like the cutscene, and I get the ones where it's not voiced. Those are the ones you need to press A. That's fine. I'm
Yeah,
okay.
but
with
when
that.
they're actually
Really
talking,
yeah, like it drives me bonkers because I'd be like, "Oh right, oh right, I gotta
I have to move this dialogue forward.
like why that doesn't make any sense to me."
And especially when you have something like the Switch where you hit the home button and it pauses the game.
Yeah.
I get not doing that in the older games, because
Yeah.
then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, the doorbell rang or the phone rang.
Right.
I have to go, but I'm gonna miss this cut. Like
Right.
now
But
you press a button and
it's 2018.
Yeah, you can pause during
all
cutscenes.
modern consoles can do this thing called home button.
Yeah. You can pause during a cutscene. Who would have thought?
So, but yeah, those are my only two big things.
Yeah.
And I'll eventually get over them because
yeah.
they're small enough that I don't really worry about it. But yeah, I'm super enjoying the look of it, more so than I thought I would.
Yeah, you were worried that it was just gonna be brown.
Yes. So
Like-
when you start off with Halil, sure,
Hanit.
Hanit,
Yeah.
Hanit.
Hanit.
Her first area is that forest area, but then you start moving into the blue frozen tundra area.
I haven't made it. I'm in the forest here.
And that's a nice thing, is everyone's playstyle is going to be very, very different, at least in
Yeah.
the first couple hours.
For the first little bit, until you get all the characters,
Yeah.
and then you start picking and choosing where you go. And that's my only other thing where I'm like, it'd be kind of cool if, like, the first 4 people you got, you followed their stories.
Mhm.
So you'd have to, replay it again to... Like, you could get the other characters. Their stories just didn't matter as much, I guess. But it'll be really cool.
I wonder
'cause
if you can finish the game without all 8.
I think you can.
Yeah, can it be one of those games where it's like, I'm not going to get anyone in my party, it's just my first person.
Just me, and you're gonna die so
Ooh,
fast.
super toast. I am looking forward to getting Cypress or Cyrus, the scholar.
Yes.
Because he can, at the start of the battle, he can pinpoint one weakness. And I think
Cyrus.
that's a super effective technique to have.
This game also goes super dark. Just FYIing. This is not like... This is more Final Fantasy 3/6 in terms of stuff. Like, there's the Primrose, the dancer class. She is literally...
I've heard of this.
They
I've heard of her.
allude to her being kind of prostitute.
A lady of the night.
Yes. And then at one point, she gets into a fight with a guy, and he's like, "You're just a whore." Like, multiple times with actual voice acting added to it, and I'm like,
Huh. This is
Oh.
rated E for everyone.
Oh my.
This is rated E, right?
I don't know.
Oh.
It shouldn't be. Like, I get that they're little pixel characters, but when there's a man who has been alluding to the fact that if this woman does not comply, he is going to either beat her and then show her what's what, and then calls her a whore, I'm like, that's some pretty aggressive, like, big thought processes for, you know, a game that's rated E for everybody. And especially, again, it's voiced. It's not like when we were smaller and you kind of skipped a bunch of text in certain games because you're like, oh, whatever. Just tell me where I have to go next.
Where's the action?
Yeah. This one is literally like the guy's talking and he's like, you're nothing but a whore. And I'm like, whew.
The voice acting seems weird. Not weird in the sense that it's bad, but it's very inconsistent because if they're
Yeah,
all
I know.
if they're all in
Voice
one
acting and then no voice acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
Or minimal voice act. Yes. And then more to the text and you're like,
I'm always, which makes me very weary. I want to play the game in Japanese, but then some of it, like some of the languages are different because I'm never gonna remember her name.
Hanit, yeah.
Hanit.
They tried to Shakespeare, but they
It's
overshot.
bad. Yeah,
It's
and
so
then
bad.
it's real bad. And then some sequences which should be Shakespearean aren't Shakespearean.
I know.
And I'm like, what?
So-
it's not. I've read this before.
In Hanit's,
They
like,
go all the way and then they don't.
in her opening, they like overdo it with the ths at
Yes.
the end of words.
And
they don't need them.
thighs.
And the thighs and the like all of this stuff. So they'll overdo it where it's like I went to the parketh to catcheth
Seeth
to seeth the things thy liege, and you're like,
What?
how did a voice actor even read that for one thing? And then all of a sudden they stop.
Yeah.
And it's like, either go full bore into this horrible
Non-Shakespearean
Shakespeare, or give into it full bore.
Because as soon as
Because it got so bad, it got
I
funny.
I was kind of worried because I was obviously doing her story
Yeah.
stuff, and then I go into Ophelia's. I'm like, oh, they're all the same.
And that's the cool part is they're all very different. The
That's
dialects
good.
are all, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Like
good
you
to
do
hear.
get an American, you get the English, like the
Okay,
person
that's
speak
good.
English, yeah.
So it's not just.
No,
that.
you are not getting the thousand these everywhere you go. And the really badly done ones, like Hanita's a bad one if you're like, this game is going to be horribly written. Like some of the characters are.
And the post battle stuff with
Yeah.
like the quips, not bad as Shakespearean.
Sure.
It's not bad,
Yeah.
but
But yeah, the dialect of that region is like they
Super
took
rough.
Shakespeare and gave him crack, and he's just like, I will add THs to the end of everything. Woo!
no one can pronounce everything.
Everything.
So yeah, I'm like I said, a couple hours in, and you were probably a couple hours in, 2 or 3 hours in.
I am more than that because I woke up the other night during a thunderstorm and could not get back to sleep.
Oh, you must have played the demo then, hey? 'Cause
Nope.
I didn't.
Well, I did play the demo at some point, but I didn't carry my save over because I forgot what happened.
Didn't the game only just come out yesterday?
I got it. You know how it's like midnight. I started downloading it at 10 o'clock or whatever the night before. So when I woke up and the thunderstorm woke me up and I couldn't sleep, I'm like,
Right.
I have a game to play.
That's right.
So I started playing at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I couldn't get back to sleep. So it was just like my yesterday
Keep going.
was pretty much just Octopath Traveler while I was on the phone with my internet service provider, trying to get them to provide internet.
Do the thing.
Do
Serve.
the thing I pay.
Serve. So yeah, I'm super enjoying that so far.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, good game. Like if Square Enix continues this kind of stuff for the
Mhm.
Switch,
Um,
sold.
right. In terms of TV shows, I finished Kimmy Schmidt season
Oh, yes.
3,
Is
part
this the-
part 1.
Okay, is this the last season?
I don't know.
I think they announced this was the
I
last.
don't-
So part
I've-
1 of 2 of the last.
It's only like 8 episodes. It does end in a finality, like there's something end to it.
Yep.
And then the last 5 seconds is the shoe-in into the hook into
The next.
the last
Part.
the last part 2 or whatever, the last season. It's Kimmy Schmidt. It's basically just that show all over again.
Yep.
I think the big arc in it is she's trying to find the guys.
Lie down.
Lay down. She's trying to find. There's a group of individuals who are. There's feminists in the real world,
Yes.
but in the Kimmy Schmidt world, there's menists, where they don't believe that men have all the rights that they should be having. And it's just a good parallel. It's just a funny parallel. And so this menist group,
Yep.
that's not actually the name of the group, whatever, but they're trying to prove that the pastor was actually doing the right thing
Oh, God.
by locking women in the bunker. Everything that he's doing is right, and so she's trying to,
Thanos did nothing.
perfectly balanced.
Women in bunkers, men on top.
Of course.
Yeah.
So it's just a funny parallel to watch, really. Finish that, and I did watch Ghostbusters.
The new one.
The remake, and
Answer the Call or whatever.
Yes,
Is kind of.
we enjoyed it.
I also
we
did.
really, really enjoyed it. I think the jokes were good. They were light enough.
Yeah, that's you, stinking dog.
They made enough of their own jokes in there as well.
Yep.
I think, and maybe it's just a me thing, that I thought that there's too many jokes, or not jokes, too many callbacks to the original series. Like too many of the parts where it's like, oh, who's afraid of no ghost? I'm not afraid of no ghosts, or it's like, who are you gonna call? And like that's fun and well, but I feel like every 5 minutes there was something like that.
Yeah.
And it could have been good all by itself.
Yeah.
It didn't need that stuff. The spray painting the Ghostbusters logo in the subway, that was well done. That was well done. That was well placed. It's like, that's a cool logo.
That's a way to, it's a really way, because it was just like, because they didn't even say anything. It was just kind of this like, and then clicks a picture of it, and you're going like,
yeah, like that's the level that I was expecting.
Yeah.
And for the parts of that, pulled off well.
Yeah.
The actresses, I think, were really good. They played their parts perfectly.
Like I say, Melissa McCarthy, I have not really liked in a movie.
But she doesn't play Melissa McCarthy in this movie.
She doesn't. She does a very good. She's back to being like she was in Gilmore Girls, where all of a sudden she's good at acting again.
Yeah,
like that's kind of my problem. We watched The Boss the other night with her, but it also had Kristen Bell in it. So like even my wife goes like, maybe Kristen Bell's comedy will balance out the whole thing.
Yeah, because she definitely didn't feel like in the front. She didn't need to be in the front, and she never wanted to.
But it wasn't like a Tammy. It wasn't one of these movies where she's just this over the top,
in your face kind of person. She was still in your face.
Yes,
but like in
just by acting.
Yeah,
like an actual actor.
Right.
It's crazy. But that was my thought coming out of that movie, or not coming out, but like after I'd watched it, I'm going, Melissa McCarthy was actually good, which was nice to see, because in The Boss again,
I wanted more Chris Hemsworth. I wanted more of him, because Kevin, is this his name, Kevin?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like that.
Kevin was good.
Yeah, his role was...
No lenses, no glasses.
Go pick up the phone. The phone's in the aquarium. He's poking on the fish. Answer the phone.
Like, he's so bad.
It's like over the top bad, and I think that's the right way to go if you're gonna do that.
But it was over the top and funny. My wife and I had this discussion, because again, this Boss movie, it's about this entrepreneur woman. She's rich, she's famous, she loses everything for insider trading. She comes out of it and tries to kind of restart her business, but she does it by selling brownies instead of cookies as like a Girl Guides thing, but she does it for a different, like actual for profit instead of non-profit like the Girl Guides do. But all of a sudden there's this giant street fight between her group and a group of Girl Scouts. Like, with people pulling hair and lighting stuff on fire and, like, crotch punches and all of this stuff. Like, it goes so big. And I'm like, this isn't...
That seems excessive.
Funny. Like, it was excessive. Where, yes, Chris Hemsworth playing the dumb, muscle-bound idiot.
Even when he's making everyone dance.
Right. It went straight to that line, maybe crossed it a little, but was perfect. And that's where comedy sits, is there. Not most of... Again, like, I hate doing this to Melissa McCarthy, because I do like her and stuff, but most of her movies, she goes this far over the line where it's not funny anymore. Yeah.
The Heat is
and again,
like
I love Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
But The Heat I don't like because of her.
What's the one that she was in with Jason Bateman?
Was that Tammy?
That might...
Oh, no. Tammy was a drunk something or other.
No, this is the one where she was the
spy.
No. With Jason Bateman?
I think so.
That's the one where, like, she steals his identity. And
I don't know.
Either way,
yes,
we know the movie.
Yes.
I think the finals act had a little bit too much gratuitous use of CG, but there's not much you can do. The ghosts, you need CG, but I feel like they could have been acted.
It was Tammy.
Yeah, it was
Tammy.
Yeah, that's it.
Spy was that. But like, that's the thing, is it's always the same character, the same character, the same character, the same character. It was nice in Ghostbusters.
With this one,
see...
it's a little different. It's a little more
Well,
it's her, but toned down.
because she had to play a scientist, I think was the big, like, it was like, you get to be a smart person this time.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows that she was like, oh, I actually get to be not just the dumb. And again, they played to the fact that she is a larger woman.
Yeah.
And
I feel like she lost weight for that movie.
she's lost a lot of weight, which is like good for her, because she said in interviews the only way she got into TV was by getting that large. That was the only way she could get into TV, was because to be funny she also had to have like something else. Like that was, so you're sitting there going, it's nice that yes she's losing weight, but she's still that person who does the I attribute it to like Chris Farley too. She does the practical gags, which is great. Like Chris Farley crashing through a table on SNL, always funny. Melissa McCarthy actually did an homage to that on SNL the one time where she did the whole like hiked up her pants and all of a sudden just fell into a table, and you're like, kudos, because that takes guts. And she does it in Ghostbusters. All of a sudden, like, she's flying up and like crashing into stuff, and you're like, that's good comedy. They're just being loud and obnoxious and stupid, not cool.
Right. Yeah, this is she was quite balanced in this movie, and in all of the actors were really good. So.
Kate McKinnon, I still.
Who's that?
The blonde.
Is that Kate McKinnon? Then who's Kristen Wiig?
Kristen Wiig.
That's what the other one I was thinking of too.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig I've always loved. Like she's, like even on SNL she was always great. And Kate McKinnon is just a very strange actress when it comes. But her character in that movie was just
it matched her though. This is gonna be fun. It's experimental.
And then I love like they grab the non-scientist person in, and it's Leslie Jones. But yeah, and her character is over the top, but again, not to that point.
Was Ernie Hudson in this movie? I don't remember his cameo because
he was the uncle.
Right. Yeah. The hearse.
Where's
yes.
my hearse?
Yes.
So yeah, Harold Ramis was the only one. He has a statue somewhere.
Yeah.
In the movie commemorating him, but
I think it was fine.
I still think it would have been better as not a complete reboot.
Yeah. Like I said, like make it be its own thing. It doesn't need all those hot tie-ins to the original. Use the actors, that's fine, but they don't need to be spouting off the lines that everyone knows.
Yes. Either make it its own thing, or legitimately do it where Bill Murray and those guys have gotten too old and they're retiring, and these people are slowly going to take over. Like,
well, what they've done so far is a good like baseline. I guess,
is
for what. Obviously, if they wanted to do more, they always have that in.
Yeah.
But especially with that post-credits sequence.
Right.
But I don't think that I think there is plans for it, but I don't think Sony is.
Was that a Sony movie?
I think that was a Sony movie. Ghostbusters. I'm pretty sure it was a Sony film.
Writer, star, director.
We're fact checking.
I don't know where. I never know where this is on here. Details.
Control F.
Sound mix, color.
Control F.
Company credits. Columbia Pictures.
Oh, okay, so Columbia Pictures. So I would love for them to do it again. I know it was not a financial success.
Yes.
Or even financially okay. I know about that, which is a crying shame.
Yeah.
Because it's not that bad. It's definitely not the best movie.
No, but I thought it was a very.
I enjoyed myself.
Serviceable film. Yeah.
I
think it's Sony overall owns Columbia Pictures.
Maybe that's it.
I liked Ghostbusters.
So we watched that film a couple weeks back, and then we watched Ant-Man and the Wasp last week. That is a good palate cleansing movie after said events of Infinity War,
which I think was exactly what they needed.
So, and it is exactly it. It's exactly how we thought. It takes place during the last sequences of Infinity War, and obviously there is that one tie-in to Infinity War. I'm not going to talk about it, dude, because spoilers.
But they do obviously.
There's nods to it. But yeah, it is a fun family movie, and it really starts to bring into a lot of discussion what Ant-Man can do, because there is they can't use the microverse for legal reasons. They can't call it the microverse.
Still owned by Fox.
Still owned by someone. Who knows at this point. So it is them going to the quantum realm this time around, because the big shtick is trying to find Michelle Pfeiffer's character, the original Wasp.
Yes, and wife to
Hank Pym. They really did a lot of nods and homages to the original Ant-Man,
which is good.
There is a Michael Pena scene with his character when he does talk real fast. That scene is in there. It is there's only one of them because last time there was two.
Yes.
But this was so good, so good. I think Marvel has solved their villain problem because Ghost in this movie wasn't so much a villain as much as she was a person
I think you're
put
supposed
into
to,
a bad situation.
I think you're really supposed to empathize with the villains, and that's what they're really getting.
Yes,
To. Loki, you empathize.
Loki,
with.
even Thanos, like
Thanos.
he was
again,
doing the right thing.
in his mind. He's doing what he's supposed to do, and
Right.
and I think that's why the subreddit started. Like Thanos did
Yes.
nothing wrong. It was literally like
He did it for the right
He was
reasons.
trying to save the universe.
So,
in his own
Vul-
misguided weird way.
Vulture, same thing. He's just trying to
Feed his family.
protect his family.
And then it just grows into the point where, like, the Vulture didn't need to do that anymore.
No, exactly.
He just kept doing it because he was good at it.
Yes.
You know. So then that's where villain comes in. Is all of
Right.
a sudden it's like,
And-
oh, I'm good at doing bad things.
And then you look at the DC villain with just Steppenwolf. You look at Steppenwolf, like there's less than one note.
If anybody like DC has such a good cast of villains.
They have so many cool villains.
Like, well, and they killed Lex Luthor too in Batman versus Superman. Like, they didn't even do a good Lex Luthor. Like, one of the most compelling villains. Yeah, Batman vs Superman. That was Lex.
Zod.
No,
They
Lex.
didn't. They didn't kill Lex.
No, they didn't kill him. They just did a horrible job.
Oh, okay. Oh, you mean you like
Figuratively killed him.
Figuratively, they killed him, but
Yeah,
they.
because again,
Okay. All right. I'm
compelling
Yes.
character
Yeah.
done horribly.
But
and
I think
go-
they fixed it with the post-credit sequence, though.
They started to.
They started to.
But that's my thing is like you sit there going, DCU have such good villains. If that's where you're gonna sit, go with the go with like doing bad guys really well.
Right.
Instead of doing, if you're gonna destroy your superheroes by not making them be the right kind of superhero, at least do your villains well because you have
Right.
way better villains than Marvel does.
Yeah.
And Marvel's all of a sudden-
Marvel's pulling their B-list villains. Like,
Yeah.
Ghost isn't
No.
really a big villain.
Ghost in the comics
Is barely-
legitimately doesn't take the suit off. Is
Yeah.
a dude who doesn't take the suit off because
And
he's
is a hacker.
so paranoid
And is a
that he's
hacker.
gonna get caught. He doesn't bathe. He doesn't this. Like
Yeah.
that's
It's
Ghost.
such a wildly different take on it, and they do a good job of this character. Like, of no one who doesn't really read a lot of comic books, they won't know who this person is. So they do a good job with that. They do a good job with their side villains. There's a hello, Tony. I'm not eating anything.
I'm not eating this pillow. What are you talking about?
The side villains are fantastic. The FBI agents, the mob bosses, those guys are excellent. The special effects definitely a step up above.
Well, the de-aging of all of these people, like that's
Yes.
essentially where
they did the Michael Douglas. They de-aged him.
they de-aged Michelle
Pfeiffer
Pfeiffer.
for that intro scene.
Um,
I'm actually interested to see how that their actual technology progresses into Captain Marvel.
Well, that's someone at
Because
this point was like,
theory-
after they saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, they're like, so Marvel could really do like an old age comic book movie with some of these actors and actresses.
Yes.
You know, Pancake. No. Like they could literally start doing movies with all of these aging actors just by
'Cause, yeah,
putting
like
dots
Clark-
on their face. While
Yeah,
they're-
because Sam Jackson and Clark Gregg had to have dots on their face
Yep.
for the entire Captain Marvel filming.
yeah, well, because Clark Gregg is getting
He's getting old.
He's getting
not,
older.
He's not quite Avengers material anymore.
like still in shape, but
If you watch it,
start looking old.
if you watch the show, you can
Yeah.
see his age. It's he's not young anymore.
And same with Samuel Jackson.
Yes.
I mean, he's getting up there. So yeah, it's the technology to make people look younger is just
It's getting cheaper for them too.
it's crazy to me. Though.
It's getting cheaper and it's getting more efficient for them
Yeah.
to do it. For the first thing for Michael Douglas of all like play people, like he's old.
He looks old.
He's old, and seeing him young again, it's just like
Well, that blew me away in the first Ant-Man.
Well,
All of a sudden he walks in and I'm like, did they find
Uh,
old footage from?
Robert Downey Jr. from Civil War.
Yeah, but like
Like that's crazier.
Michael Douglas was the first one that they really
Put dots on faces, right?
did. I mean, they did it with Chris
I
Evans
would
and-
like to see how they do it with how they did it with Civil War, with Robert Downey Jr. Like if they actually got
yeah, dot
him to do it
faces.
and they put dots on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did the same thing. Like it's essentially this is how Disney rolls with a lot of their stuff. Is they have like the R&D department that creates technologies that they're like, we might need this one day, and all of a sudden they're like,
Weird.
no, they're working on this whole thing where they make people look younger. Let's throw
we
them
need to
in.
work. We need to work on our giant purple guy.
Yeah, let's test this out. So they put it on Michael Douglas's face, and all of a sudden Michael Douglas looks like he did in the '80s, and you go,
holy crap.
Holy crap! Like,
And it looks amazing in Ant-Man and Wasp.
and so essentially what Disney does now is they're like, we'll make one person look young in every Marvel movie we do. That way it funds that R&D department, essentially, that company, and they just keep getting better and better and better until, like, you know, Captain Marvel comes out, and now they're going to do it to 2 people at the same time. And then they're like, pretty soon we'll just do an entire movie with, like...
Old young people.
With Robert Redford and Clint Eastwood and, like, all of these people, but we'll make them
We'll just
look
make
like they're
fake
20 again.
We'll just have... We don't even need to be the actor.
Well, no, and they showed that in Star Wars. Like, as much as Tarkin, if you know what you're looking for, kind of looks somewhat like...
What about Leia?
fake.
Like, I'm sure that wasn't actually...
No, it was not Carrie Fisher.
It was
that
definitely
was the
not
body
Carrie.
double
Yes.
with a likeness
Yes.
that
To
they
help-
just
to help.
fixed.
Yes.
But Tarkin was the same thing. They got a British or they got an actor with kind of the same facial features, dotted his face up, and overlaid a dead actor's face on it. And, you're like,
And I'm pretty sure you could do that. Like, you do the prosthetics for the face first.
Yep.
And then you don't have to get the prosthetics all the way through.
Yep.
And then
Yeah,
just put
you
dots.
essentially find someone with the same kind of facial structure,
Yeah.
dots, and then you can just
Put
like
the hair on.
yeah.
Put the... If they got facial features, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing though. It's like we're getting to that point where we're just gonna need really good body actors and voice actors, and we won't need. Like that's why I say James Earl Jones. I'm pretty sure they just keep hiring him to bank his voice. Like they get him for Darth Vader for certain scenes just to bank like lines from him. They're getting him for Mufasa again in The Lion King. It's like, is this line really going to be in there? Like, you know, his metachlorian count is super high. He's like, why is this in the Lion King movie? And it's like,
No reason.
Just read it.
Simba's a Jedi. With a lightsaber in his mouth.
James Earl Jones's script is like this big. Everybody else's is like a normal size script. He's like, why am I thought I'd die like a quarter way into this thing. Why am I reading so much?
I did this movie with you guys before. I know.
Why am I even here?
So yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Paul Rudd is a gem.
Yeah.
There is a really awesome sequence between him and Hope and Michael Clark's Hank.
Oh, yeah.
Where they're coming through. There's a research breakthrough that's happening, and he just knocks it out of the park. It is so funny, but it is so serious at the same time. And you forget for a split second that it's Paul Rudd in that sequence.
Yep.
And oh, it's so good.
He does a Google interview, The Wired. If you go on YouTube, they do these Google interviews. So they literally just go like Paul Rudd. They search up Paul Rudd on Google and they take the first 5 or 6 things and they cover them up. So they sit there and like have to uncover them and answer whatever the Google query was. And it was like one of them is will Paul Rudd be in Avengers 4? And all he does is looks at the camera and goes like, you know, he does this sheepish little look and you're just like, yes. Like he's so good at what he does. Like even just interviews and this and that
solid.
And everything. He was on Stephen Colbert and he's like, well, you don't have to get like super jacked like, you know, Thor.
No.
And he's like, that's because ants aren't, you know, Thor-sized. They're thorax-sized.
Aww.
And he's like, good night, everybody. He's like, I just came up with that. Good night. Like, I'm gone. And you're just like, oh, Paul.
There was a sequence where they were filming for Ant-Man and the Wasp. He actually took a couple minutes off to the side to do a Q&A, like on YouTube or something like that. And it was a joke piece.
Yep.
It was a 100% joke piece because he was in the suit and he was like reading this stuff. It's like, okay, so the first question is from blah blah blah. Does any point do you slap at the base? I'm gonna say no. I'm in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then he puts off the next question. All right, I loved you in you know Ant-Man. I loved you in Civil War. Cool. At any point in this movie, do you slap at the base? That's like 5 minutes of him doing that. I'm like, oh my god, this guy.
he's good though. Like that's the thing, and it's like
they need to lock him down for a long time.
But again, he's one of these guys I think who likes doing fun stuff. Oh, yeah. So as long as
and the fact that Ant-Man is that movie now that he is the palate cleanser after after Ultron, after Infinity War. Yeah. Like it's good.
Ant-Man really just gets to have fun. Even in Civil War, he gets to have fun. Although I have to laugh because one of the questions on the Google thing was like Ant-Man orange slices question mark, and he's like, I get this a lot, and he's like, did no one else play like soccer when they were a kid, and at halftime you had orange slices?
It's an electrolyte.
He's like, that was always the snack. If you needed a boost, they gave you orange slices.
Yes.
He's like, I don't get why people don't understand that
and you get the mindset of like he is still a dad. He's got Cassie to worry about. Like he thinks like a dad.
Just let me have some moments.
And I will say this: there's 2 post-credit sequences. One major.
Yep.
One very, 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 very major.
I'm assuming.
And then the other one, which is a little bit more lighthearted.
Yep.
Not so much spoiler. It does take place. It takes place after the snap, and so it's this like weird like this is the world
right
now.
Which I think is a cool scene to have. Like I think it was really cool to have a couple movies in between the Avengers movies.
Right. But like this is like this little snippet is like this is the world now, and it is so. I'm not going to tell you like what actually happens in it, but it's just a jarring experience, and to think that this is the only look we're going to see until Avengers 4, barring Captain Marvel having any sort of post.
Captain Marvel, I think, will have a post-credit or an end of the show something.
They've said that the entire movie post-credit sequence included is 90s.
Well, that'd be interesting then.
So like does Peyton Reed get the honorable like this to show what happens after the snap, like the post snap stuff like that is so interesting to see that sequence play out. And of course there's that one major one which holy motherfucking short balls, like that changes so many things going forward.
I just love how Ant-Man is now pretty much going to be on par to make more money than a Justice League movie.
Right. It's worth it. Like it's got comedy, it's got action.
It just
Cassie is like that kid is going places. She is like up there with the girl who did X-23.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is going places. Like those actors are going places. Stranger Things as well.
Yeah, she's in the next Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
The girl from Stranger Things is in.
Good for them. Like
Godzilla.
I'm excited to
King
see
of the
those
Monsters.
kids like do big and better things. Not to say that they're not in this movie, but she is so funny.
But that's like it just blows my mind that we're told we're getting an Ant-Man movie, and you're like, all right, that could be interesting. And then I mean Edgar Wright was attached to it at the beginning, so you're going like, all right, that'll be a fun movie.
I'm still kind of miffed that we don't have that movie.
Yep, but it's like that'll be a fun movie to see because it's Edgar Wright and it's Ant-Man. Like that'll be wonky, and then we get the Ant-Man we got, and you go,
still good.
They did a really good job of Ant-Man.
Out of all the
superheroes you're really thinking about, it's like they actually pulled off Ant-Man.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a sequel coming out that again is going to do better than, I almost guarantee it, Justice League.
Aquaman.
Which
will do better than Aquaman.
But it shouldn't. By all rights, it should not do better, but it's going to. And that just blows my mind that that's how much care and love Marvel and Kevin Feige are putting into these films.
And how much trust they have on these directors just to do
writers
whatever they want.
Yeah.
Basically. Because
like I say,
you go from like Thor Ragnarok, that movie, and to thinking Ant-Man is still in that same universe.
Yeah.
Wildly different movie, both still good.
Yeah. Oh, on Marvel Talk, Venom has now been said is officially not a part of any of the MCU, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, anything. It is its own separate
zero
thing.
Interest to watch it at all. So I had, although they did release the picture of full Venom.
Yep.
Super accurate.
They've done a good job of that, but until they stop saying symbiote.
Symbiote. No, symbiote.
I'm going to let dogs out.
Cool. Let's go. Doggies. We're going to take 5 seconds. They need to dog. I'm gonna listen to my voicemail, apparently. I can listen to it later. That's cool. But yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Super good. Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about him as an actor for a longest time. And then...
John Wick. He was in John Wick.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was in John Wick. I haven't seen 2.
He's in John Wick 2.
I still need to see that.
They've got to get what's-her-name-back for John Wick 3.
What's her name?
The lady who plays the love interest in the Matrix. Like, they just got to kind of have a weird Matrix reunion.
Oh, Carrie...
Yes.
Something or other.
Yes, her. The one who's in Jessica Jones.
Oh, yes. Oh, she could be gone in Jessica Jones and no one noticed. was
I know, but that's the thing. Like,
Yes.
having her in the next John Wick movie, I think would just be cute.
the
'cause
Matrix trilogy.
Yeah, just have a Matrix kind of thing
Plot
every
twist:
movie.
this is the Matrix. This is one of the Matrixes.
Neo got rebooted. He came back as John Wick.
Still badass. So yeah, I watched that. Go see it. Still fun.
There you go.
What else did I do? I think that's it. Let me just double check.
You mean you haven't had time off since the end of June?
Shut up. Shut up. Just Yoku's Island, but nothing major there. Yeah, that's been me.
Cool.
I can't think of anything right now.
I'll go with movies first, I guess.
Mm.
I watched Tomb Raider,
The
the
new one. How is it?
Have you played the first Tomb Raider game?
When you say first Tomb Raider, you mean
like
the reboot?
The reboot?
Yes.
It's that.
I don't know if that's a
But in
bad
film
thing.
form. It's not. It's actually a pretty good film. Like, she starts off as... It starts the movie off with her dad goes missing.
Yeah.
And she's kind of living her life, but she doesn't have the fortune
Oh.
because she refuses to sign papers that her dad is dead. So until she does, she can't get any of the Croft money.
Okay.
Um,
Because that was the shtick, is that
so she works as a
rich.
she works as a bike messenger.
Okay.
She also, like, it shows she likes boxing, like kickboxing
Okay.
and mixed martial
So
arts.
it's showing that she's a little
She's an
bit
adrenaline
athletic.
junkie.
She's an athlete.
She's an athlete. She's an adrenaline junkie. Like her, the one scene at the beginning with her as a messenger, they want to play this weird like fox hunt game. So it's all these bike messengers, and essentially they attach a fox tail to one of the bikes and chase the fox as if they were the hounds.
Mm-hmm.
And they volunteer her to be the fox. So she gets this tail, and like she's riding through England like
Yeah.
a crazy person on a bike, doing all these things, kind of like showing off that she is a capable character, even though not archaeologist character. She is capable.
Do they ever talk about her being an archaeologist in this?
No.
No.
Because she doesn't. Her dad is like a rich guy who kind of does his own archaeology thing.
Yeah.
Which is what you find out he's in it to protect the world, essentially.
Okay.
Like he
Right.
searches for treasures that can
Video game plot.
that can potentially destroy the world.
Video game plot.
And everybody thinks he's nuts, though, which is kind of the nice piece, because they're like, you're nuts. These things don't actually exist. Like, it's not like Indiana Jones where, you know, they're digging for the Ark of the Covenant, and everybody's like, yeah, they're digging for the Ark of the Covenant. This one would be like, you're after what? Like, you're an insane person. So they think he's nuts.
Okay.
And he kind of gets discredited, and then he disappears.
Not dead.
Hashtag
not dead.
Hashtag not dead. So she manages to find her way to a thing that goes like, oh, this was like the last thing your dad did.
Was it like an underground bunker kind of thing?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Um,
oh god. Like a crazy person.
and then she sells off something because she still hasn't signed the papers that says he's dead, because all of a sudden she was about to, she gets this thing and goes like, oh my god, he's still alive. Like, you know, in her brain, she's like, he's still alive. So she never signs the papers. So she still doesn't get money, but now she needs money, so she sells off like the one thing her dad gave her. Very like, oh, what's she gonna do? You get the guy from the Edgar Wright movies, not Simon Pegg, Nick Frost. As
Oh, is he in this movie?
this much.
Oh.
He's a pawn shop owner.
Aw.
So that part's cute. Like, they've got English people to be in this film, like, which was nice. They didn't just,
That was that worry.
yeah, they didn't just fake it like with Angelina Jolie doing, you know, that thing. Either way,
they made two of those.
I know. Either way, she gets on a boat. She ends up on this island. The ship crashes, so she's stuck on the island, and things pursue to the point where, you know, she meets the antagonist. Then all of a sudden, she's off on her own. She manages to get herself a bow and some arrows, and then there's the nice flashback scenes to her dad teaching her how to, because she's English.
They hunt.
And she's old old school British. Like, they live in the big mansion. She's got on the stupid costume as she's, you know, shooting arrows and stuff.
Of course it is.
Like, that's the thing.
I mean, that probably provides some really good imagery.
It fits. Because it's not like, you know, if all of a sudden we shot back to, like, a shot of us, you know, city kids in a backyard. Like, she's got the large forest around her in England with the dumb suit. Like, it would be like if they shot back to us trying to learn how to ride horses, and it would be us.
Yeah.
Like, we'd look like idiots. Whereas opposed to if it shot back to that
Well,
kind
I think
of
if
thing,
you're gonna go
she'd
that,
be in the boots and the
if you're gonna be
pants
that, like, you've got a source material to follow. You might as well go all the way.
and they did. So,
Like, you
honestly, good flick. She gets...
Is there supernatural in this movie?
Yes.
Okay, so
kind of the well,
because Uncharted, I was thinking more of the Tomb Raider reboot game, because that was like weirdly the last minute they started putting in supernatural stuff, because like 90% of that game was not supernatural.
This one is they're chasing the supernatural, and you find it to be not as supernatural as
so Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
So Uncharted 2. Have you finished Uncharted 2? Yeah. So Uncharted 2 was very much that.
Yeah. Where you're like, oh, I'm chasing this mystical thing. Maybe it's not as mystical as we thought it was. But it's still like, you know, she's tomb raiding. She's jumping through traps. She's doing all this thing. The one part that I thought was really funny, very Last Crusade, was they make it to this one temple. Mm-hmm. And there are like 3 things that you have to, like 3 challenges you have to get through to get to the end. And I'm like, so one of them was literally like pray to your gods or something like that. And I'm like, does she have to duck because something's going to cut her head off? Because I've seen this film. It was made in the 80s. And it involved Harrison Ford and Sean Connery. It was not that.
Oh.
So one of the traps was eerily similar to one of the Last Crusade traps.
And I think once you get to...
And they actually fit in the video game stuff, too. Like, there was a puzzle that she had to solve.
Was there any like parts where she had to craft arrows?
No. She didn't have to craft so much. Like, she did. She stopped at a campfire at one point. Like, she legitimately, like, you know, takes a nap by a campfire out in the wilderness.
I remember that sequence.
That's what I mean. It's like, you've done a fairly good job of taking the game stuff, but making it real. Like, she actually falls. She stabs herself in the gut. Is
it visceral? Like in the games when she, like, flops down backwards?
Not
it's
as bad, no. But that's the thing. Like, she's like, oh my god, like, I've been... Like, she reacts like a human.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, shit, like, I've been I'm not dying, which is good.
That's a lot of my blood.
Well, and the thing's in there, so she's not, like, bleeding out. Like, she's like, okay. And clearly we've seen at the beginning of the movie these kinds of things. Maybe not getting stabbed, but possibly getting injured is part of her regular routine. Mm-hmm. So it's like, she's okay with pain, and it's like, okay, been stabbed, not dying, let's deal with this.
How's the actress? Okay. How's the actress? Like, that's the big question, because it's their first movie, right?
Good. I believe she's the same lady that plays Ghost. If I am not mistaken.
Is it her? Fact checking.
Jim Raynor.
Fact checking.
Where's actors? Did I pass
them?
Down.
There.
Bloop. Nope.
No.
No, Tomb Raider. No, she's done a few things.
Oh, but she has though. Nothing
No, nothing I've ever seen. She was good.
Okay.
She fit the Tomb Raider, like, look, feel, that kind
of.
The new
stuff.
One,
not the older one.
New one. Yeah, she's not the, like,
giant boobs
running around.
Boobs running around.
Pillaging.
Fighting tigers.
And dinosaurs. No, this one was very much again, she's an adrenaline junkie. Stupid camera. She's the adrenaline junkie person who clearly, at one point or another, like, she's used to being athletic.
Okay.
But yeah, she's not super buff. She's also not, like, super skinny and large-chested, like, supermodel running through the. Yeah. It's a nice mix.
All right.
I know we're glitching.
Oh no.
Comedians and Cars Getting Coffee. I finished the newest season that's on Netflix.
Yep.
It's like all the other ones. Some
if you're not into it, then you're not into it. But if you're really,
some of the interviews are good. Some of the interviews are meh.
Any highlights? Any like actors who are? I feel like he's doing with Obama.
He did do one with Obama.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, I may
it's on it.
I have to check that one.
Yeah, when Obama was still in the White House.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they actually go to the White House to have coffee.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty good. That's what he does. Jerry Lewis. Jerry Lewis. His last appearance before he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So that was pretty cool. I love the ones where they get really insightful about comedy and the way that comedy works.
It's more than just threes.
Yeah, like, or they just talk about what makes stuff funny to them, and some of the interviews just don't come off that way. Like, Ellen DeGeneres was one of his guests this time, and it didn't feel like they didn't talk about anything important.
No.
They didn't talk about her coming out as a gay person ages ago, when that wasn't the thing to do. They didn't, like, they kind of touched on it, but not really. Then they touched on, like, old smoking campaigns for whatever reason. I guess Dave Chappelle's was pretty good.
Oh, I didn't realize he would have done one with
Yeah.
Dave.
John Mulaney's was disappointing because I really like John Mulaney's comedy,
Mhm.
and they spent a good portion of the show shopping for a rug.
Maybe that was the comedy piece.
I guess so.
It
I
was
don't know.
Some sort of meta comedy of like them trying to
I don't know. Okay, we're gonna disappear for a second because I'm gonna try something.
magic. Are you sure we didn't disappear and stop?
we have just.
We've now turned into an audio cast. Wow, you really chose a good sequence to stop. Just saying.
If you're gonna stop, stop hard.
Hold on, let me narrate.
See, that helps. Yeah, like John Mulaney's was kind of disappointing. So overall, like it's hit and miss for that one.
Yeah.
We've been watching Champions, which is a new Netflix comedy.
Okay.
It's got Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Have you watched the one where the Swedish people show up?
Yes.
It's got the guy who was the Swede as the main character.
Do they hold hands?
No, he's
Oh,
not.
wow.
He's not actually Swedish.
Oh.
But it's got him, and he runs a gym in New York, and his brother helps him run the gym. And all of a sudden, this like 15-year-old kid shows up with Mindy Kaling, and he's his son, who they've been separated this whole time, but the kid wants to go to school in New York, so they move him to New York. And now this guy who hasn't been a dad has to learn to be a dad, comedy-wise. Da, da, da. It's pretty cute, and the kid is like super flamboyantly gay. So, and it's kind of funny because that's not even a piece of the show. It wasn't like, oh, your son is gay. It's like, oh, you have a son, is more the bigger piece of the whole shtick. So it's okay. It kind of ends in a weird spot, and it's trying to run a gym that's really kind of just failing and this and that and everything. Like, they don't know what to do because they're horrible people. Not horrible people, they're just lazy people, I guess, is the best way to do it. So it's picking up, though, but now the show's that, like, we've run through all the episodes. There's only 10 episodes.
Yeah, Netflix kind of picks and chooses how many they make.
Yeah, which is weird.
Are you a Marvel one? 13 episodes. Are you anything else? Rolls the dice.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel 10 was a weird number to...
I wonder if they're ever going to do more of those the toy documentaries.
I hope so.
Because I have a laundry list of things that they can look at.
Oh, sure. Good Girls is also another Netflix show we started watching because there's one of the ladies from Mad Men in there, one of the girls from Parenthood is in there, so there's a couple actresses that are in the show that my wife and I actually enjoy. It is about suburban house moms who end up robbing a grocery store, but the grocery store has way more money than it should because they've been laundering drug money, so the guy whose drug money it is comes after them and demands the money back, but they've already spent it. So they have to do a bunch of other weird crime things to, like, pay him back. So it's dark, but also funny at the same time. Like, I think they're going for that Drew Barrymore show was supposed to be, which was like a dark comedy.
Oh, the Santa Clara Diet.
Yeah. I think they were going for that, but this one works better. And I'm not sure if it's
you got a lot of sci-fi stuff to worry about.
Right. So I think this one's just legitimately like there's this really scary, drug lord who's the scary bit. But then there's these three women who don't normally do any of this kind of junk who are now like having to cross the border into Canada to pick up an unknown package and drive it back across the border. And it's how they deal with all of this stuff while also being moms. It's cute.
I get Weeds.
Yeah.
I get a Weeds vibe from that description.
Yeah. And then eventually by like, the part of the show we're at, they've kind of just, they're like, let's, if we're going to be bad, like, let's do it. We're pretty good at this. We
Apparently.
should continue doing this. Yeah.
Speaking of Netflix stuff, the season 2 of Nailed It is on Netflix. So if you guys
we haven't finished season 1. The host kind of bugs me on that show.
You know what? She takes a while to get used to.
The premise of that show I enjoy.
Perfect. Yeah, she's very eccentric.
Yes.
Very eccentric.
Yeah.
And we found out real quick that the whole Wesley bit is not fake.
Oh.
It's planned.
Yes.
It's totally like Wesley is an actor. He's not actually forgetting the trophy all the time. They did their first non-dessert episode. They were doing, I think it was like a football themed episode.
Nice.
Where they actually had to work together, the three of them, to make a savory snack platter that looked like a football field.
Oh yeah.
And it was not good because they had to put their pieces together to show the stadium and everything like that. And as usual,
That shows.
no,
Yeah.
it falls real flat. I didn't enjoy the season finale as much as others probably did because it was a crossover episode where they did it with the Queer Eye guys.
I heard that was going on.
And I don't know, I didn't see it coming.
Yep.
So I was kind of expecting an actual episode, and they only did one challenge.
Oh.
And for starters, I don't know anything about Queer Eye for a Straight Guy. I know that I know it's a popular show on Netflix.
It was a popular show ages ago on TV.
Yes.
It got rebooted on Netflix, and that's all I know.
And it's very popular. It's like it's going for its next season.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But to me, I've never seen that show, so over
Yeah,
my head,
no,
like all the jokes in that episode were
The
like,
only thing I know about Queer Eye for the Straight Guy is that some of the people from that show have ended up doing things I watch. For instance, I believe Ted on Chopped on the Food Network was one of the Queer Eyes.
oh,
From 12 years ago, sort of thing, when they started on TV. A couple of them became actors who do other stuff. But, like, that's the thing is, like, I recognize a couple of the older ones because they've done other
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
I never knew them from,
but yeah, like the last episode. If I had known the episode before it was this, like the last real episode, I would have been like way more into it.
Yeah.
But because you just turn it on and.
keep going,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's over, and you're like...
But that was the last episode.
That's kind of how I feel with Champions, is all of a sudden it was over, and I'm like, oh.
And you know, it's a reality TV show, so it's for them to make it. It's just like it's done. Like we got season 3 now. Let's go. It's
Yeah,
like
you can make
and
12 seasons in a
and
week.
honestly, you don't need like talented people on that show.
Well, that's kind of the point, because even like
Yes.
when my wife and I watched it, she goes, at least they're not bakers coming in who are like they're
Yes.
just finding average Joe people to come in and
And
do
I will
some
say,
stuff.
the rewards that they've done are much better than season 1's, because season 1 was like you either won the stand mixer
Yeah.
or a cupcake kit.
Yeah.
And we were like, why would you get a cupcake? I wanted the other episode where I could get a stand mixer. That's actually worth money.
That's worth money.
This one was a stand mixer, and I think it was either a knife set or something actually like chunky, like
Yeah.
substantial, not like a $15 thing.
Yes.
So, yeah, we watched season 2 of that. It was the same as the first season. So if you liked the season 1 of Nailed It, there was no Saul, I guess. I can't remember the one the one baker's name. You remember the one? It was the bigger gentleman, the heavier set gentleman,
For which?
and the first season of Nailed It, where he didn't know how to melt chocolate,
Yes.
and so he just put the bowl in and then like burned everything.
Yes.
Yeah, I wanted more of that kind of person. I wanted more of that incompetence, not slight incompetence.
I need big incompetence.
If I'm going with that show, I want to go all the way dumb.
Yes.
So yeah, we finished season 2 of that.
Nice.
It was quick. It was a quick season. So
Okay, games. Octopath, obviously,
Yes.
is the game.
Yes.
I started with The Thief.
Thief.
I
I heard The Thief was a good one to start with.
He's pretty good. Like, cool story, good intro to the game, which is nice.
I always think about the intros to the characters as like, this is a D&D campaign. Like, this is a character like waiting for me to roll as a new character for my campaign.
Pretty much. Even when you meet them, it's hilarious because it's like, do you want to see how they started, or do you just want the general intro we gave you as you meet them? And it's like, oh, I shall
Well,
play it.
I'll do the
play
whole.
it.
I paid you $80 for
Yeah,
this.
I shall play it.
Give me all your game.
I loaded up Super Bomberman R.
Is the Metal Gear update?
I had just enough coins to buy a Solid Snake for my game.
Is it the Solid Snake or Big Boss?
I got Solid Snake.
Okay.
Because there's Naked Snake,
Which is the Big Boss, basically.
yeah, and Raiden.
Which is not Quentin Flynn,
No.
weirdly enough.
But I only had enough coins to buy one of them, so I'm like,
Is
I
there
don't wanna
like
recognize it.
in-game, like you give them real money for
No,
more coins?
no,
Okay,
no,
so
no,
it's
no.
all...
You have to actually earn the damn
Okay, so,
stuff.
alright, so it's not just like I
The
can...
game is just as hard as I remember it, which is the pain in the ass, because that's why I'm like, I shall get more coins, because I have so many characters to unlock now.
Yeah.
Goemon from the old ninja game.
I thought it was
64.
the blue heavy... Or is it straight Goemon?
Yeah, it's him.
Oh my god, I thought about that game the other day. I'm like...
But he's in there, so I got him, and I got Solid Snake, and now I'm out of coins. But the cool part is you know how like they have the thing coming out their head?
Exclamation point?
But, well, the
dot.
the pink dot
Yeah.
on Bomberman's head. Well,
What
you
is it
can
for?
change it in the game. So like I can put a top hat on my Bomberman. Well, I
Yeah.
can also put a top hat on top of Solid Snake.
Oh my god.
So now that that's the case, I'm like, well, now I need more hats, but hats cost coins, and I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore.
I want Solid Snake with a top hat.
So I have Solid Snake with a top hat in my game, and
That's fantastic.
And then I played
and it
a
is
couple
voiced
levels.
by by David Hayter, which is the craziest part.
Yeah, I played a couple levels, and yes, it is just as hard as it was before. So I'm not good at Bomberman either, so that's the other piece. So there's that, but yeah, like Triangle Head or Pyramid Head is in the game. I can't afford him. Like there's a bunch of them I can't afford, and I'm like, I must. Yeah, robot. I'm like, I must play this more just to unlock these things.
What other Konami characters are we missing nowadays?
I forgot. There's a lot in that game. Layers of Fear I've continued to play. I played it a bit for the PC when it was like early access, so it wasn't finished. I have now reached a part in the game that I reached on the computer. It is not a game one should play at night.
With
it's not a game.
Put headphones on.
Yeah, I did. Because my wife is sleeping and I'm sitting there in bed like, and then something happens in the game. I'm like,
pee everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. The dog jumps 8 feet. My wife falls out the bed.
The dog peed on the bed.
Exactly.
Again this week.
Good game though. It is a walking simulator.
It's a horror walking.
It's a horror walking simulator. It's not like you can run from a lot of stuff, but all of a sudden,
don't you have like a light walk?
There's a light jog. Your leg is fake though, so that's kind of how they work that in. Is like you can't get a lot of oomph, so you kind of hobble.
I do want to play the one walking simulator while we're talking that. It's the one on Switch. It's also on PC. The one where you play as the blind lady.
Ooh.
And so the idea is that you're walking through the environment, but you see like echolocation.
Oh, okay.
So you have like the boom.
Yeah, you're daredeviling it.
Yeah, but it's the same premise as Layers of Fear, where you're trying to find your way through a house.
Yeah.
And there's something chasing you.
See, in this one, it's like you open the door and all of a sudden there's like a creepy like little girl type thing that turns around and looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, and then the door slams shut, and I'm like.
That's ominous.
And the cool part is, in Layers of Fear, is sometimes, like, the doors will lock or not lock. Well, all of a sudden, like, the little girl's sitting there playing and the door slams. And you're like, I wonder what happens if I open the door again. And all of a sudden, it, like, pounces at you and you restart from...
Oh, so there's a solid game over
it's
sequence?
kind of not, because the rooms actually change if you do that. So it's not the same, like, you're not playing up to the same sequence again. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, things have changed. Because I got attacked and knocked out by the ghost thing that's inhabiting this house. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, but it does a really good job of giving you that eerie feeling of weird stuff's happening around you, and you shouldn't play this game right before you go to bed. Crash Insane Trilogy, same thing. Keep playing it. It is hard.
Yep.
It plays like an old
PS1
platformer, yeah.
Where the jump timing is incredibly frustrating.
It is frustrating because it's like, where's the edge? Where's not the edge? Where's even with the updated graphics and everything, they didn't quite nail oh, this is part of the ground, this isn't part of the ground, this is this is that. It's still very much like
it's pixel perfect
trial
jumping.
and error. Yeah,
it's pixel perfect jumping. I heard it gets better with the second and third game.
And I assume that because they came out later and all that stuff. So I got Parkitect.
What? It
is another amusement park building simulator. This one is more along the lines of running an amusement park.
Is Planet Coaster not doing it for you?
Well, so here's the thing. Planet Coaster, I have fun building parks, but running them is very Like there's not much management pieces to it. Mm-hmm. So Planet Coaster is really fun to build parks in because you can make them super detailed and go absolutely crazy with building stuff and make realistic looking parks. Mm-hmm. But then running them doesn't provide much of a challenge. So even if you start the scenario mode or whatever where they're like, oh, you want to start on hard so you don't have a lot of stuff going on, it's not like you can build a big part. It's like you can build a merry-go-round. Mm-hmm. And then you can wait 3 hours till it makes enough money that you can build something else.
So,
and I'm like, that's not quite how, if you're planning on building an amusement park, that's not how it would go.
If you like watching numbers, I guess.
Right.
But the Parkitect.
But Parkitect is supposed to be more of the management side. So they give you enough money to start a decent park. and you have to make sure that there's backstage areas because it's like the staff room. If you scroll over it, it goes like guests don't like seeing this building.
Okay. So
Like make sure it's in a place where guests don't go. There's specific paths that are only for employees.
Put a sheet over the building.
Well, yeah, there's employees only like paths. Same thing like food stalls and stuff you can put inside buildings. You can do like but the building piece isn't the biggest part to it. It's the running of the park, and it's much more the isometric top-down-ish type
so you
look
can't
of
really
roller
scroll
coaster.
in
No.
like park.
Yeah.
Not,
And Planet Coaster
Roller
looks
coaster.
gorgeous. Like you build stuff in that park, and it looks amazing. But Parkitect is very much running things,
Yep.
and I'm like, I feel like I need a management sim that feels like I'm actually managing something.
I wonder if these park simulator games ever get big enough that you could build the park, but then another aspect is you get to be a patron in someone else's park and actually like walk around in first person to give them actual live feedback.
Sorta. You can
I wonder if that
do
ever
that in Planco. Sort of.
But like as in you can jump into others' parks and give them
you
feedback.
can. You can
and be
open
like,
up.
I didn't go there because I couldn't find it, or
Yeah.
I didn't pay this.
Oh, for sure.
this
Like
ride.
that would be insanely cool. One of the ones I'm waiting for is 2 Point Hospital. So it's legitimately a hospital sim. You have to build your own hospital.
Okay. All right.
And the creators of it are like they're making it look really fun. Like I do like management sim games. I've always liked Sim Towers and like those kinds of games. So I think 2 Point Hospital will be fun just with the whole like managing, because again they're building it as a management thing. You have to build a hospital that actually makes a profit and also helps save people. Like you can't just either way. I have played Planet Coaster as well because the Vintage DLC just came out. So they have a bunch of old school rides that you can now put into the park, some different roller coasters, and then a bunch of old school themey type stuff, so you can build like an old section to your amusement park with trapeze artists and that kind of stuff, like all that kind of jazz. So that part's kind of, I'm like,
But there's a lot of support still for that.
well, and the DLCs are about $15, but you get, like, they sit there going like there's 100 and some new pieces to put into your park, as well as new rides, as well as
It really does feel like they're trying to rival the Sims 4, because every 5 days there seems to be like a new Sims 4 thing coming out.
See, in The Sims, I feel like I'm getting ripped off with a lot of the DLC.
I don't like the fact that what had happened recently with their DLC. You needed to.
They turned it into a subscription base.
No. Okay, so what it was they were selling DLC. It was for the Cats and Dogs expansion, like a full-blown expansion.
Yep.
Perfectly fine.
Yep.
But then they had something else.
If you wanted specific dogs.
If you wanted specific dogs, you couldn't buy that expansion without owning another expansion. They literally made DLC
for DLC.
For DLC.
That's bad.
Like a super like.
I think that's what's really cool about Planet Coaster is if you don't care about the the Hollywood Studios type parks, you don't have to buy that pack.
And that's fine.
Which is cool.
But the Sims 4 thing, when I read that, I was like, you need DLC to play DLC?
See, and with every update for DLC they come out with, they also come out with a free update. So they added vending machines to the game.
Okay.
So you can put vending machines in your park now. Instead of having restaurants, you can just plunk a vending machine in. And it's like, cool, I dig that. Thank you for that. But if you want the popcorn machine, and I think the Zoltan machine, you have to buy the DLC.
Okay.
They've added planter boxes to the free updates. You can actually make gardens now that are raised gardens. Which again, you go, but when you're building a park, those empty spaces
we can fill it now.
Are really nice to fill with, and you don't have to build it out of just pieces. There were art pieces before that you could color whatever color, and people would just put in and be like, it's a planter box. Now there is an actual planter box.
Is there any Steam community stuff for Planet Coaster where people put their own models of things?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If you're talented enough.
And some of the stuff on there is insane. And that's the part where I don't have fun because I'm like, right now I'm kind of California adventuring because the vintage pack has a lot of pier type stuff to it. So I'm like, I'm gonna pseudo recreate, Disney's California Adventure, but do my own twist to it, not make it completely the same. but it's, you know, I'm building something and I'm like, this is probably, someone's probably done this on the workshop already and done a way better job. But I'm like, I don't care, I shall spend 3 hours building a building.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Planet Coaster's fun. Whereas opposed to, like, something else, the management part's fun, this one's... Yeah. So, either way, Planet Coaster Vintage Pack, if you like the old-timey stuff, definitely look at this one. But the free update's really cool all on its own. And then the game that Brian and I have been playing that we can't play on a stream is Conan Exiles.
I mean, that's a pretty mature game.
It is so mature, you can run around without clothes on.
Just like real life.
Just like real life. So you start off the game, you are exiled.
Just like...
So you're actually crucified. You're on a cross.
Oh.
And once you create your character...
Okay, so wait, hold on. Is this
Yes.
an MMO game, or is it a single-player
It is partially MMO. So you can play on a server with X amount of other people. Or you can play single-player / co-op. So, like, Brian's world is the one we're playing in right now. So if I jump in, I can't show you the house we're building because we're building it in Brian's game.
Right. So how does that stuff work with... How does the forest work, then? Is it server-side? Is your guys' game held server-side? When
It
you play the
is.
forest?
It is on my save account.
Okay, so vice versa. He can't...
He can't build in that game unless my computer's on. Now, we could start our own, like, dedicated server and just keep it open.
Oh.
But then that's a whole mess of trying to create dedicated servers
That's
and stuff.
money.
And money. So that was the cool... Like, Conan actually has a button. When it's like you can join a server, there's another button that says, like, buy a server.
Oh.
So I'm like, interesting. Like,
How much is it?
how much? Click on the button. Server can hold up to, I think, 70 people, it said.
That's... Okay.
But you pay per slot. So you pay $1 something a slot.
Now, you as the server owner would pay $1 per slot. Or the player.
Right. So for me, I'm sitting there going, well, if it's $1 a slot and it's just me and Brian playing, that's not bad.
No, oh, so you're not paying, like... It's not like $15 for the server plus...
No, it's legitimately... But the minimum number is 10 people.
Oh.
So I said, I'm like, if you, Dingy... Like, if you and Dingy and Brian and I played...
That's only...
And but we split the cost... Because it's only $10.
Yeah.
Like, it's $10 for the server for a month. I'm sitting there going, if all 4 of us played and we played, that wouldn't be a bad cost to split. Like, essentially... $2.25 a person a month.
In theory, but what's in this game though?
This game is pretty insane when it comes down to it. So either way, you start on a cross, and once you create your character, you get to name your character, and then it tells you what you're on a cross for. So it's completely like randomly generated, like defecating on a statue, or having sex in like a public place, something like that.
Just like real life.
And so either way, you start the game, you press OK. Conan shows up and he goes, "I'm giving you a second chance." And he cuts you down because he's a barbarian. Like, he doesn't care. Like,
okay.
To hell with the rules of the this republic that exists somewhere that we don't know about. Like, to hell with them. I'll cut you down. Time to start your life anew, and legit anew because you're naked coming off this cross. No clothes.
All right.
No nothing.
All right.
No direction. Doesn't tell you what to do. You just start in the desert.
Just do stuff.
And it goes like, you look at the top, and there's a piece of meat inside a circle, and the circle is slowly dripping down. There's a water like droplet inside of the circle. So it's survival. And it's definitely survival. So then you walk a little bit, and you find a note and a water skin with like 2 drinks of water in it. And then you can just pretty much start collecting everything. So there's bushes.
Do you have a satchel or anything like that?
No.
Or just imaginary inventory?
Just imaginary inventory.
Okay.
Thank God. Because so you start collecting fiber from the plants, and from the fiber you can make clothes.
Yeah, all I heard you guys yelling about was iron or something like that the other day.
Yeah, because... So, there's other resources. So as you keep going, there's rocks and sticks.
Yeah.
Once you collect enough rocks and sticks, you can build an axe. Once you get an axe, you can get wood from trees. Once you get enough stuff, you can build a pickaxe. You can get more rocks more quickly, because rocks are pretty much what you're building any kind of building out of. The buildings are built on a grid system, so you can make these things pretty huge. And that's pretty much what Brian and I are doing.
This kind of reminds me of Don't Starve.
Sort of.
A little bit of Don't Starve, where it's like... But in this case, it's very much barbarians.
And that's the trick, is like you run into people and they're like, attack!
Okay, so it's very PvP? Or is it PvE?
So if you actually join a server, there are PvE servers, strictly no combat between players. Only AI and the creatures in the game.
The
mobs. And some of the mobs are people.
Yeah.
Like, they do have just random, like, humans sitting around a campfire that are all like, you're in our space, and come and attack you.
Yeah.
So there's those. And then there's PvE combat. So the servers actually have a specific time when players can fight each other, but you can't destroy other people's buildings. The only thing that can do that is decay. So if they don't go to that house in enough time, or that building, it will just disappear.
Okay.
That's why the servers don't just get full of, like, you know, this guy building a hut and being like, I don't like this, I'm gonna go to a different server, and all of a sudden that hut's
Do you
just
have to
there
like
forever.
maintenance then all the time?
You don't have to maintenance it. You just have to go be in its periphery of, like, you pretty much have to log in and be like, I still exist. I think you have 18 days. It used to be 6. And people were like, what if I go on vacation? Like, I've built an entire castle fortress. I go on vacation and it's like I have to get the guy who's house sitting to log into my game for me so that my castle doesn't disappear. So I think they extended it to 18 days because they're like, you are correct. Like, you do not have to do that.
Very much like a make your own adventure.
Yes, and then there's a PvP server, which is legitimately like, if you build yourself a hut, someone can come by and just obliterate the hut and kill you. And then you start naked back, like, at one of the spawn points.
Is this the game where I saw someone streaming it and they did that to someone and then they locked him in a cage?
Oh, I don't know.
I think you can do something crazy. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game.
I don't know. I know when you got banned on this game for doing, like, cheating, you could still log in, but your character was permanently stuck on a cross while your ban was active. So even if you started the game, Conan wouldn't come and cut you down, you just...
That's one of those games.
So you could still log in, but they're like, you can't play. I'm stuck.
Worth it.
So yeah, Brian and I kind of ventured out, and we've built ourselves a house, and then of course to build bigger and better things, you have to collect bigger and better resources and that kind of stuff. So,
right.
And then as you fight things and build things and put stuff in boxes, like any action you do essentially gives you experience.
Oh, okay.
So like legitimately taking stuff in and out of storage will give you that much experience. And then they have their chapters in the game are you doing things to get better as a barbarian. So
do you see Conan anymore, or is there any other like
there is no story that we have really discovered yet. And that's kind of the big piece is like we're building the house. We're now going out and getting thralls to do stuff for us. Like that's one of the other pieces is you can enslave people. So you have to knock them out.
That's right. You guys
tie them up with twine and then drag them back to your base and put them on the wheel of pain till they submit to you.
You guys were talking about that.
Yeah. So our challenge now is we are only collecting females.
Of course, just like real life.
We're kind of role playing it a bit, in terms of like, you know, if we were barbarians, and except we're barbarians with aesthetic, you know, necessities. So like when we build the blacksmithing areas and stuff, they should be outside or should have a chimney attached to that. Like it's not like we're just building the random house and being like, this needs to go here. Like we need these things, just build them. We're like, no, we shall build a deck to put the things on because these things should be outside. So
you guys are going into it.
And Brian gets a little bit more into it because the walls, the walls actually have structure to them. So it's stone on one side and then like you see where the wood is on the other side. And if you put the wall on backwards, you get the stone on the inside, but like the support beams on the other side, and it drives Brian nuts.
Is that just a visual thing though?
Yeah.
It's just a visual thing.
Oh yeah. It drives him nuts. And he's like,
perfect.
He'll destroy the wall and rebuild it and put it back up. So I'm waiting because we reach a level where all of a sudden we get better at building structures. Because apparently once this one bar builds up, you do get attacked by NPCs, like a swarm of NPCs that can destroy your house. So you can build a bigger, better house.
Do you build like armaments and stuff like that?
You can build armaments, you can build fences,
like
you can build all
pikes,
sorts of...
Like spike traps.
Yeah, you can build spikes and that kind of stuff that deter them from going a specific way. But one of the things is it changes from like building simple sandstone structure to building like a nicer sandstone structure that looks different. So Brian's like, so you're saying part of our house is going to not match the other part of the house? And I'm
yes.
like, yes. And he goes, I shall take the time and replace. Like he's gonna start replacing walls once we reach that level.
It's just a little OCD.
Yeah, and there's feats you can get. So different feats get you different things. So you can actually get better at, hunting, or you can get better at this, or you can get better at that. Like there's different things you can be better at. Mm-hmm. Same with attributes as you increase them. Like I can eat raw meat now. Okay. I don't have to cook my meat. I can just.
You've got that body for that.
Yeah, I can just ingest it without getting food poisoning.
Eats raw chicken.
Yeah. Now we built ourselves on an island. The only problem with thralls is because you have to knock them out and drag them. You can't drag them through water.
Oh.
So we built ourselves a bridge.
The links that you guys go through to get slaves.
Thralls.
Slaves.
We don't call them that, Tony. It's a bad word.
Helper.
Yeah, helpers.
They just need.
Some of them are legitimately just dancers.
All right.
Yep. Some of them actually do work for you. Like they'll build furniture.
Are you sure you shouldn't be back on that cross?
Probably. I defecated on a statue and did some other nasty things. So you have different religions in the game that give you different powers. So I pray to the frost giants.
You subscribe to the frost giants.
Yeah. Okay. There's one god in there, Crom. Legitimately, it says he doesn't give a crap about anybody, so he has no benefits. Like he provides absolutely zero benefit for your character.
But then that might be like a trophy or something like that.
And that's my thought it's like you subscribe to Crom because you just don't care. Like that's the religion you take if you just don't care.
Right, and then if you get to like whatever the end game is,
yeah.
you're still a Cromwellite.
You can learn other religions in the game from NPCs. We've only found one NPC that hasn't tried to kill us.
Until you try to kill him or enslave him.
You shall be ours. Whack. So there's that, and then if you build the temples to pray to the gods, you can actually like craft weapons associated with those gods at those buildings. Mm-hmm. So you can actually build like a ice arrow type thing if you subscribe to the frost giants.
Right.
So there's a lot of depth to this game. There's combos when it comes to attack. Brian, be a part of the clan. But it's the horde of 2, Brian. We can't have 3.
Did you say horde or whore?
Horde.
Oh, okay.
Horde of 2. We should be the horde of 2.
You guys are only getting 2 females, so.
Oh no, we can have lots of thralls. Just takes a lot of gruel and a lot of time for them to spin that wheel around. So yeah, that's kind of it's our house is becoming quite the because we built it on top, so we're on an island, and there's Komodo dragons on our island that we still can't kill. So we went up the hill, and there's like a land bridge on top of the hill. Mm-hmm. We have built across the land bridge and onto like the 2 separate pieces.
Do the dragons ever come up and try and attack you?
They can't climb, thank God. So there's Breath of the Wild versions of climbing in this game.
Oh God, there's a stamina.
There's a stamina bar, and you legitimately jump and hold jump, and you just grasp to whatever horizontal.
That was the weirdest thing in Breath of the Wild.
Brian's just trying to convince you on every streaming service. So yeah, you just grip onto whatever and just start climbing as long as you have stamina to climb. And sometimes the climbing is super broken because it shifts to a diagonal.
And you're still climbing?
And you're still like the game's not pretty. It still feels kind of early accessy.
Is it? It's not. It's not early access. It's an actual game.
Hey, Nugget.
Hello.
So yeah, like that's Conan, kind of fun
Exiles.
game. You can do whatever you want in it, which is kind of cool. You can kill. You can do this. You can,
I wonder if in the PvP servers you can try and enslave other players.
I don't know, and that's I don't think that's the case. I think PvP is really tough to jump into at this stage of the game because you have those people like Eve, where they have built up and amassed like
giant community,
these giant clans, and you start in the server and you're like, hey guys,
don't kill me.
What's
praise Helix?
Yeah. Which god are we praying to? Like, I'll recreate my character, guys.
I'll reroll.
What do you guys need? And you can almost be enslaved just because of the sheer amount of other people doing stuff. Where it's like, we need you to become a blacksmith, and you're like, but I don't want to be a blacksmith. Well, then death. And we'll just camp the spawn points and keep killing you until you become a blacksmith. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll become a blacksmith then. So, but you can make furniture, like you can decorate the houses. There's rugs. There's you can put heads on the walls of all the creatures you kill. You can create tables and candles and just like aesthetically pleasing junk.
It seems like a weird game.
It's very weird. Like my wife.
It seems like a very.
My wife came down the one day while I was playing single player, and I was like, I'm putting like I'm trying to shimmy a table into like part of my thing, and da 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 da. And after I've been playing, she's like, "What game was that?" And I'm like, "Conan Exiles." And she's like, "So what's the point?" And I'm like, "I'm a barbarian." And she's like, "It looked like you were decorating a house." And I'm like, "I was."
Barbarians can be pretty too.
Essentially, it's like I had to make sure that the area table was in the right place, so when I put the candles on it, it lit the most amount of the room. Come on now. And she's like, "Shouldn't you have been killing things?" And I'm like, "When I need resources and food, I do." And there's environmental stuff, so like a sandstorm hits, you have to find cover.
Okay.
Like that's our problem is we built windows on all of our walls in our house, and it lets the sand in, so there's only specific places where we have to like huddle and duck inside of our
You can't put like a flap over the window.
No flaps. So we should at least build a sandstorm proof room somewhere.
It's just a bunker.
Yeah. But we're building up, we're kind of trying to do this whole tower thing and do this aesthetically pleasing kind of building.
It sounds like what Fallout 76 wants to do.
And kind of like if that's what Fallout pulls off, but looking like Fallout
and actually playing
like Fallout and playing a little bit better, because that's the problem with this game. Sometimes the servers don't quite connect, so you go to fight something, and if you're not on level ground, neither one of you're just both swinging swords.
Huh.
Or sometimes the stamina bar doesn't react at the same time because of like server pings, and there are server issues with the game, so like you're sprinting and it's just like I have unlimited sprint, but you actually don't.
It looks like you're sprinting.
So yeah, so there's different things. Brian drowned a couple times because we were building the bridge and he was underwater and forgot he had to breathe.
Well, you need air to breathe, Brian.
Yeah he forgot.
Pro tip.
And actually I said, I'm like, remember you have to breathe. And he drowned. Like, as soon as I said it, he was in the process of drowning as I'm like, remember you have to breathe if you're under the water. Yeah, and all of a sudden he's like, I just died. And I'm like, what killed you? And he's like, I drowned. No, you don't. Yes, you do. You need to breathe.
Sometimes.
Either way, the bridge is done, so we don't have to worry. Well, it's not quite done. We have to add railings on the side, but... Again, aesthetically, we are aesthetically like that kind of thing.
What kind of barbarian are you guys?
We like things pretty, damn it.
We like it pretty.
You can pick there's 3 different or 4 different voices that you can choose from too. So there's like the stoic, there's the strong, there's the scholarly, and something else. So you can actually be the wimpy barbarian.
Right.
If you choose, and then you can choose the body slider, so you can be not physically fit with like a small chest as a man. And then if you play on the server where you're playing on a naked server, you get to choose endowment size.
Just like real life.
Just like real life. So we are sophisticated barbarians. So yeah, like there's a bar for endowment, and unlike other games, it legitimately is like there.
Last game I saw that one was Saints Row 4.
But they still blocked it out. Like, it was censored. This one is very...
Not censored.
Because, yeah, I remember that
Was the dong censored in this game?
Nope.
What?
It's legit. Like, it's... You bring endowment up, and it's like... And you're like, oh, that's too long. Like, I feel like I'm gonna get it caught in something. I'll just leave it at the default, like...
No, all the way.
Yeah, all the way up. The weirdest part about that is like you climb or you swim and it's like there are your testicles and penis, and it's like, this is jarring to do in a game.
How do they? It's rated E for everyone, right?
Totally. But that's the thing is, like, you would if you were climbing, because like when he climbs, he obviously like spreads his legs out. That's exactly what it would look like. It's just I've never seen it in a video game before, so it's just that's why Brian and I will giggle every once in a while, because it's like, you die, you go back to a spawn point naked, and our spawn points are our beds now, so you just end up back in the house without clothes, and you can run back to your body and collect all your stuff. But all of a sudden, like, you've been doing something, Brian drowns, and all of a sudden you just see this naked guy, like, climbing down a cliff, and then running across a bridge, and then diving into the water, and you're like, what was... Like, that's where the giggles kind of come from, because you're just like, this is... Like, it's no longer awkward, where before we were like, I'm naked, like, look at me windmill, like, you're jumping in front of Brian, like,
Is there physics?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah,
Of course
there's physics involved in all of that. Now, of course, you can also play as a naked woman, which both of us were like, no, we shall be like barbarian men, running around without pants. Every once in a while, I just Winnie the Pooh it and take my pants off and walking around the house. So it's a really cool game. It's available right now in the Humble Bundle monthly, so you can get it for $12. Which is why we ended up jumping.
Along with other games.
Along with a bunch of other games. So you get a Hat in Time, Escapists 2, and Conan. So for $12, it's actually not bad.
Neat.
But not for the $50 they want on Steam for it. Like even on the summer sale we looked at it and it was still $24 and we're like,
Whoa.
So $12
for a game that doesn't really have a game in it.
It's
like,
got a game, but there's no story unless there is a story and we're just missing it. Like I don't know. Either way, that's what I've been up to. That and a little bit of WoW, but yeah.
Awesome.
So pretty much Octopath and Conan. Conan we've spent a lot of time just building, but if you're into that kind of survival games, it's $12 is pretty worth it. So, cool. Especially for all the other games, and then you just cancel your subscription to Humble Bundle monthly.
I'm not interested in anything that they've been putting out on that. So
they're
The only one that I was remotely interested in was Destiny 2.
Yes.
But I clearly don't have it, so
I think I have an extra key. I'm pretty sure I do. Either way, that's the post-credit. I'm done.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's our post-credit show for today.
Yes.
If you liked what you saw, subscribe to us on our multitude of channels.
Like and subscribe.
Hit the little bell icon if you're on the
OopTubes.
Do that, and we'll get notified when we go live.
Yeah.
Whether we're doing this or
like every Saturday.
Yes, more or less.
Yeah.
More or less.
More or less. So thanks for watching.
Do we have anything coming up? I don't know. I don't think we have anything coming up games wise.
Mega Man comes out.
I thought that was out already.
No, I thought so too, and then I looked at the date. It's like it's 26th.
I thought that was out already.
I was gonna get it because I really like Mega Man X.
Yeah, because they split that into two, didn't they?
They did. It's a $60 game if you put the two together, or something like that, or $50 game if you put
Same
the
thing
two
with
together.
Revelations when they did that for the Switch.
Either way, that one I'm kind of like. I do love the X series.
I think that's a general consensus.
Yeah. So.
Cool. Well, I don't have anything coming up other than probably just play more Octopath. But
yeah, Octopath and some Conan, and
This summer for Pokemon Go is pretty wild. So
the Eevee thing has me interested again too. Like on that Sunday, if my wife's not free, I might join you again.
Do something. Yeah.
I won't do a 2-day thing. I can't do 2 days.
I don't know what I'm doing yet. Like I said, I don't know what my logistics are yet.
Yeah. If you're out and about and you need some company, I'll come out on an Eevee hunt.
Zapdos next week, I think. If we do all the research this weekend, which we probably will.
Yeah.
Because why would they not let us do that?
Well, especially with the community growing as much as it has, like with the friends thing, like they've seen.
Zapdos is fairly doable with like 4 people.
Oh yeah.
If you have a crew of 4 or 5 people, it's easy enough to walk around and knock them out.
Cool.
So.
Do another Articuno thing where you start going inside.
No, we're gonna just. I think my raid group, we're just gonna walk around White Ave.
Oh yeah.
I think we're just gonna walk around White Ave because it's just easier.
Yeah.
We tried doing them in like the last hour for Articuno. We went to White Ave, and we didn't think about this beforehand because we're like, yeah, there's a lot of gyms there. Well, there's plenty of Articuno spawning, and there was, but it's also White Ave on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Which
gets a little crazy.
Yeah, we had trouble finding parking.
Yes.
So, we might just. I don't know. We haven't talked about it yet.
Cool.
Between us.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm gonna clean out my office.
Cool. That sounds exciting.
Oh, I get new internet on Wednesday.
You do have that. You did have a stunt with internet, so. But it's all done.
It is all done.
It's all done now.
Man, talking to people on the phone. It's like it calls people.
All right.
Cool.
Well, on that note, we'll see you guys later.
Check us out at barreldude.com.
Bye for now.
Bye.